Hey, what's up, guys? Man, what a nice day out today. Clear skies. I see the sun is maneuvering for a scalder, but so far so good. It's very cool out this morning. It's 65. So yeah, I figured I'd come out here and get some stuff done. Got a show coming up this week, or this weekend, so we're gonna have to get Marla up here and put a little spit shine on some stuff and take care of a few things that need maintenance and get ready for the show. But we're going to do that a little bit later this week. But for now, I'm standing here in front of this beautiful piece of machinery, X, and 1994 Freightliner Classic, 3406, 425, 13 speed, 390 rear end gears, and I made all that stuff up, but it does have 3406B, 425. Now, I just put this engine in yesterday, and you know, this engine is it's a takeout, a used takeout, and I'm just throwing it in this truck, and I'm going to put an oil pan on it, because the oil pan that was on it was busted. These cat oil pans are fragile, if you will, and so they broke it when they took it out, but it was a front sump anyways, wouldn't work in this truck because it says a set forward axle. And so I needed to swap it out. So I'm getting ready to get up underneath there and change from the front sump to the rear sump, get that all in there and functioning. I'm going to grab my oil pan, get it cleaned up, run over to my cousin's, grab a pan gasket, slap that thing on, put an oil filter on, oil it up, get a starter on here and get it and see what kind of oil pressure we have. I have started to touch up the paint on this engine. It really did look like crap. It's not going to be perfect, but it is going to look like somebody cared about it. It's degreased. We're putting some paint back on where the paint has come off of the thing. It's not a rebuild engine. This truck is not going to be a you know, fully refurbished show truck. This is going to be a working truck. I did take the radiator yesterday to Marietta Radiator, same people who did the radiator on Black Betty, Blamalam, and so we're going to get that done. Probably be a couple of grand because the core looked like it was in bad shape. But we're hoping that we get some good news on Thursday and that we can save that thing, because it'd be super cool to be able to just slap it in here, hose this thing up, and get some coolant running through it. I do have to put a exhaust manifold and turbo and thermostat housing and stuff on there, but I would like to get the oil in, get a starter on it, get oil pressure, see what kind of oil pressure this thing runs. Now, this engine is not hard to take in and out. It will be a waste of $200 worth of oil if there is anything wrong with it. Now, I was going to do a willet start, but because of time constraints, I couldn't. And so the guy said, hey, I'll vouch for it. If the engine is not what I say, which means runs on all 6 cylinders and carries oil pressure with no spun bearings, he'll come and snatch it out of here and give me my money back. So I rolled the dice, and here we are. So I'm just going to jump under there, put the old head camera on. I'll leave you running from over there for a little bit, and we'll get underneath and we'll get this pickup. Got to grab some blue Loctite, but we'll get this pickup tube placed and we'll get it in there and we'll go inside. We'll get the oil pan, we'll bring it out, we'll clean up the outside. And I thought I had one that was El Spico Spano, but I think that was the one that we used on Black Betty. So I've got one in there that's clean on the inside. May have been off this motor originally, or the engine that came out of here, but yeah, let's get after it, eh? All right, a couple things I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little grease on the O-ring. No, I was going to replace this O-ring. I don't have one. But this O-ring is really nice. I took it off, made sure that it was in good shape. uncut and had plenty of life left in it. You know, this thing sits in oil, so it doesn't get dried out like a lot of O-rings do. Probably should have just changed it, but I don't have one. And yeah, so there's that. All right, so we're going to take this in here. What this thing does is it goes, this head camera does not like to be upside down, but what we're going to do is we're going to take this in through there. We're not going to drag it in the dirt. Well, okay, maybe we'll drag it in the dirt a little bit, but we're going to stick it in here. You see it? Probably not. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some Loctite, just blue Loctite on these. And it doesn't take much. And this is just a safeguard. It's not going anywhere. But the last thing I want to do is have this oil pickup fall down in the bottom of the pan, starve this motor for oil. It's really a pain in the ass. Much more of a pain in the ass than it should be. I'm about to lose the camera. Ah, damn it. Okay, this really does suck. Okay, that's not so bad. And this bolt. Sorry that you guys fell off my head. It wasn't the intention, believe me. And I will fix you right now. Okay. So, you see the oil pickup tube goes back there, comes up here, goes into the oil pan. And then has this keeper bolt, which is neither here nor there. It just makes it so that it can't come out of the oil pump. So we're going to come up in here, and then we're going to come back here. Okay, that's it. Pickup tube is arranged. Now we'll get the oil pan, and when we do the oil pan, we'll slide it in from the side. We'll get the new oil pan gasket. We got to scrape this off, clean it off, and we'll get the new oil pan gasket glued to the pan, and then we'll push it up and put some bolts in it, and we'll get her tightened up all the way around, and then we'll be ready to just oil it up. What does this have for a oil filter? Has a 51792 wicks. Let's go look. All right, so what I'm doing right here is there's some nicks from scraping the gasket, and so I'm just going to flatten that out. And the bastard cut file, you know, cuts both ways. Don't try and spend too much time in one spot. But you know, this gasket's not very big, not very thick. And so if there's some huge high spots, it could have a little leak. And you can see there are high spots in there. And I'm just cleaning those off. I don't want to change the depth of the pan. I don't want to, I'm not trying to, spend a bunch of time on it, but I just want to take the big high spots off. And it will help, because you don't want any more leaks than you're already going to have, right? So yeah, there it is, flat as it's going to be. You can see all the high spots, and I could keep going, but it's not a machine finish. It doesn't need to be. So for now, I'm going to grab something and drive over to Todd's. Probably take the Trailblazer. I don't know why this thing keeps shutting off. We're gonna have to reconfigure. All right, let's slide out of here and see what we got. Oh, that sucked. Were you watching the whole time? Yeah. All right. All right, we're gonna get up under here, and we're gonna put a little goop. Okay. Okay. And then we're gonna set it up in here. And we're gonna go up nice and easy. Ouch! This drive shaft has caught me on the head a couple of times. Okay. I probably should just finish doing it. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna bring this pan in. And you just got to be careful, you know, because you don't want to knock that gasket off. Okay. Okay. Now, make a quick look and make sure that pan gasket stayed. And it did. And it did. We have one hose that's hanging down. That's liable to be a gotcha. So we're not gonna go crazy here. Okay, so this is the hard part. Is picking up the back of the pan so the front of the pan can clear. Okay, then we're gonna look and make sure. All right, I lost you a little bit, but where did I put those bolts? Right there. Oh, I really am trying to give you guys a good view down here, but it is fighting. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my chest under here and then see if I can dipstick is not right. Okay. Oh yeah, because that dipstick is in the front and not in the sump. Frick. I don't know. I honestly don't know how I'm going to get it out of there. I should have been thinking about that. Frick. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that sucks. But it is what it is. All right, under we go. Yeah, boy, this is hard. Okay. 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 I don't know. Okay. I don't want to break this oil pan, so we're going to be taking our time and yep. Oh, 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 that hurt. That's gonna be black and blue. Ouch. Okay, no big deal. We need to continue on here. Frick. Okay. Let's go here. This one go here. This one go here. Okay. And this one go here. Okay. Yeah, this thing has a pan on it. Pick up in a pan. Did I tighten that bolt? Oh my God. I don't know if I did. Oh my God. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I tightened that. Did I tighten that oil pickup? I don't think I did. Oh man. All right, so been having tons of trouble keeping this thing connected, and I don't know what I did with my blow nozzle. I've been carrying it around while I was on the phone. So and I know what you guys are gonna say. You'll be like, "Oh, James, what the hell are you doing? You're using Tractor Supply oil and blah blah blah." Well, this engine hasn't ran in a while, and there's going to be some shit in there that I want to get out, and also there's a chance this engine's not even any good. So, and you guys all know how expensive oil is. This cheap ass oil that I'm about to put in here is $200 for oil and filter, and so it's getting the cheapest oil that'll lubricate it during this initial startup and testing. If this engine's good, it's going to my cousin's shop. This truck will get finished, you know, put the radiator. Oh, by the way, this radiator was total garbage, probably what contributed to the engine failure. Their charge air cooler was no good, and the radiator was no good, and that's probably what smoked this motor. So I'm gonna start this engine, and I'm going to make sure that it has good oil pressure and that it runs good. And if that's the case, then this truck's going to my cousin's, and he's gonna pop the bottom end part, and he's gonna put new rods and mains in. So that's why it's getting crappy oil right now. I'm going to try to not bust my ass while pouring this oil. All right, I think there's about a gallon left in there. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a starter. I'm going to find a place to tap oil pressure off of, and I'm going to get this engine turning over and see let's see if it's got oil pressure. Now I'll probably take the oil line that goes to the turbo and neck it down and get it right off of there. Somewhere else on this motor is going to have a oil pressure port, and I think it's probably right here, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't see another port over here. Some guys will be like, oh, you're putting unfiltered oil into the engine. Now, that oil is filtered so much before it gets to the jug. It's just ridiculous to say that, but again, personal opinion. It just doesn't happen to be mine. Alright, so we got oil in it, we got a filter on it. We put a starter on there and turn it over. I'll probably go get the starter off the Cummins. I got another one coming. You know, those things are 200 bucks a crack, so but anyhow, we'll go get it and we'll get a okay, so we got oil pan, oil pickup in on and tight. We got oil in, oil filter, and I think I see the oil pressure port, so we'll turn it over until that shows pressure, and then I don't know if I finished the radiator story, but looks like $2,960 for the radiator and charge air cooler and AC condenser, and that's more than I paid for the truck. So that's cool. But you know, that's the bad thing about these old trucks. They usually go down because lack of maintenance, and this one's no different. All right, so basically I'm just getting the wires around. This truck needs some a couple of fuel injector lines. We'll order those, and need to get this old line out of here. This is the fuel line, so this will be going somewhere. This will be going down underneath into the pump. We're not gonna worry about that right now because we're not gonna run the truck. We are going to get the starter, get it put in, and get it wired up. We'll be back. All right, so I'm going to try and put a starter in there and put one bolt in. This is not a fun job to do by yourself, even with the lightweight, high torque gear reduction MT39. It's still no fun. Okay. Well, we're going to see how much fun it's going to be. We're going to go up from the bottom. Sit down and see what's what. Okay. Oops. There's a little hose back there. Well, the shitty part is it sits right on the solenoid sits right on the frame. All right, so you know the drill. We're going to battery it up. Mosquito in my ear. Why do mosquitoes buzz in people's ears? Remember that book or story? I don't know if it's a book, but definitely a story. Okay, all these nuts are corroded as hell. All right, so we're just putting nuts on, and then we'll put. So we're gonna go in here, put the negative on the negative, and the positive on the positive. We're gonna go over the frame to the positive. If that's okay with you guys. I would prefer it. And we're just going to turn it over till we get some oil coming out. And then we will hook the oil pressure gauge up and see. Okay, so now this is a temporary electrical system. All right, so I'm just going to quickly put a wrench on these and snug them up, because they need to be good and tight. And then once I get these tight, then I'll hook up the batteries to make sure nothing goofy goes on there. We don't have the truck electrical system hooked up. We're only hooking up these external batteries. It has a mechanical oil pressure gauge. So we're gonna, once we get oil coming out of the port, we're gonna hook up that gauge, and then we'll crank it and see what it's got. That way we've got battery coming from both sides and not trying to draw the current all the way through it. I mean, it's probably okay, but just personal preference. Okay. Now we'll get the with the push button starter switch. We'll be back. Okay, so got you ready to go here. Batteries are hooked up. I've got the push button here. And there's no transmission in this truck, so we don't have to worry about anything going haywire with that. And we got juice, and we're going to go test. Okay. Now, this is going to get sucked in, so we're going to make sure this is not on here, because we don't want that bag to be sucked in. I gotta reach in there. I actually think I'm gonna take that off real quick and make sure there's not rag stuff down in there. Nobody wants rags in their shit. Ooh, some rusty valve seats for sure. Nothing, a little bit of work and stuff won't fix. All right, so that's 9/16. And this is just precautionary, just to make sure there's no tape over the hole, no rag stuff down in there, because we're gonna, you know, crank this thing over a bunch. We just don't want suck any rags down in the intake manifold. This thing was open, could be a hornet's nest in there, or could be a couple of rats living in there, so we're just going to look before we get going crazy. Looks good so far. Okay. Yeah. Now this thing shouldn't start. There shouldn't be enough fuel in there to start. Plus the rack is off. So okay, not making any oil pressure yet. We're not going to crank that starter to death either. The engine sounds good, turns over nice, and we could fog it with a little starting fluid, but okay, we got oil pressure now. Holy whoa. I mean, you guys didn't see that, but I sure did. When that turbo pipe got about 80 pounds of oil pressure and shot a volcanic eruption up into the stratosphere. And I forgot all about that, but there's oil on the roof of the truck. Wow. Jeepers. Well, I mean, you know, when you forget stuff, I did mention it earlier, if you guys remember, right? And wow, oil everywhere. That thing just is amazing how much oil pressure is happening. That gauge went to 50, so we got good oil pressure. We can't start it with that unplugged, obviously. Boy, that would have been amazing. But oil pressure. Nice. Let me get that mess cleaned up and I'll bring it back. I'm there now, and we cleaned up the runny mess, a little bit underneath it still. But let's crank on it a little bit more and see what kind of oil pressure we have. So it really only has about 15 pounds cranking. So I don't know what that means, but something's leaking all over. Oh, that's a scroty. I'm not sure. It's weird. We'll get a look at it. Okay, so I think I got the oil leaks tended to. And I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a little bit of fuel to the transfer pump. I'm going to look at that real quick, just to make sure it isn't daubered up. I got a little bit of oil I got to tend to on this mat. Alright, we'll get a look under here right quick. I don't know. I'm just going to get a little brake cleaner and blow up in there. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this doesn't fit this fitting. I mean, it should be this size. Okay. Just had to get it square on there, I guess. So, all right. Okay. So we got fuel going to the pump now. The thing is, we don't have power to the unit yet. I should, before I get too crazy, I should take this filter off. Oh, let me get a thingy. All right, so grab the filter wrench. We're gonna see about taking this filter off. See if I have one. 33528. Oh, oof. Smells like piss, but it doesn't look bad. This filter is garbage. So, Riley's just came, dropped off my filter. We're going to go ahead and fill this baby up with some transmission oil. We got some basic ATF. Transmission fluid is a good thing for diesel engines. Don't be afraid to fill your new filters, new fuel filters with transmission oil. It'll run fine on there. Clean the injectors as well. And so I get a little going here, and get some on there. Get this filter installed, and we're going to crank the engine over a little bit and see if if we can get some fuel to suck into that. All right, I want to make sure that everybody's watching because this thing could just take right off and run, and if that's the case, I want to be able to see it. I'm not going to turn the fuel on quite yet. I got my brick here. Need to, and let's crank on it a little bit. I'm going to take this loose. We'll put a little transmission oil on that thing. Just a skosh though. All right, we'll put this down here and we'll crank on it a little bit more. We're gonna trip the solenoid. It's hard to do. I thought it was gonna be simple, but it's not. I can't get my hands down there. Dang it. What we'll do is we'll scooch this up. Nope, that won't work either because when we stop cranking it'll shut it off if it's running. It's going to be this one. What we're going to do is we're going to needs to be reliable, and that's not going to be. So I'm going to strip it back some more. I was hoping to already have it running, but okay. Now we got a good strip on there, and all we got to do is rip this off of the hot side, and it'll shut that solenoid. Scared me a little bit. Just in case. It's going to be kind of hard because it's going to want to gurgle back. That's not going to work real good. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't want to use anything to start that with. All right. I don't know what's what. I do not want to use any starting fluid because it's just no need to. I gotta just get this fuel pump to make some fuel, and the transfer pump may not be this pump may not be pumping. Be right back. I don't know what to do to have you help though. So just be in the thing with me.
I can press the button, or you can press the button. And
Yeah, but if I need to do both. All right, so I didn't really want to put ether on this thing, but my electric fuel pump that I usually use is burn up, and so I'm gonna have to ether it, as much as I don't want to. Oh boy, don't blow my head off. One little squirt. Okay, so it only needed just one little sniff. I must have had the fuel system super close. Let's see. Nice. Alright, so we can't run it long because we don't have a radiator. It is making some blow by, and I don't think that's a bad thing for as long as it's been sitting. I did just have the hydraulic pump set in there. I don't have a gasket, and so when I took it off, the blow by came out there. There was no blow by out of the turbo return, and I didn't see anything puffing up into the bag that's on the breather, but it could have just been because this was open. But I anticipate some blow by. This is not a brand new engine, and man, it's just super exciting to see it run. I had my doubts, but man, I just hit it with like 5 seconds of ether, and it was running. I had a hard time. Normally what I would do is hook up my electric fuel pump, pressurize the entire fuel system, bleed all the lines, and then hit the key and it would go. But if my pump burned up, I want to blame Johnny for burning it up, but it just isn't meant to do what I had it doing, and so it just burned up. But anyhow, that's it, guys. Will it start? Yep.
We did it.
We did it.
High five. And by
Right
we, I meant him. I did nothing.
But it runs good. I'm happy with it. I think we'll put the turbo on, and we'll clean these threads and put the turbo on, and get a thermostat housing. The radiator should be done this week, so hopefully we'll be able to get this thing turbo on, watered up, and on some rear mounts, and make this thing turnkey before I go to work. But the engine runs. That's a win in my book. It's carrying about 40 pounds of oil pressure, which is not great. But what I will do is, now that I know it's going to be a good engine, we'll get it watered up, we'll get it warmed up, we'll make sure it's not putting any water in the oil, and then I'll run it over to Todd's and have him do rods and mains and new oil pump. So, if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis, you can join the membership, and www.youtube.com/JamesPretty/join, and there's different levels of membership, and we appreciate you guys. We'll see you.